This is different. This is a broader beam about that big around, I like to think of it, instead of burning, it soaks that laser light deeply into the tissue. And laser light, all light, is a form of energy. And what happens is that we are literally dumping energy deep into the tissue. In the laboratory, you can measure the cells absorbing all this tissue and starting to do repair work. That's been shown. So what we're really doing is revving up those cells to do the things they're supposed to do, be it get rid of swelling, increase circulation, get rid of inflammation, rebuild tissue, those kinds of things.
That's fascinating.
It is. It's very interesting. And so I do my hospital as my work as my day job, and I do that 4 days a week, and then take 1 day a week off from the hospital and go work in the clinic.
That's tremendous. You know, of course we think, is this something that could be found anywhere else in the country? Are lasers commonly used in a wide beam format? I understand that Roger locally has gotten the patent there, and I think you said he had it made in Italy.
Correct. Yeah.
And of course, are lasers commonly used to treat pain, or is this totally novel to Horry County?
Well, it's probably novel to this area. If you went on the internet and Googled low-level laser therapy for pain, you'd see a lot of products for sale. A lot of them are pin-light sized, and they're very low power. Ours are, increase that power by a factor of 10 or 100 or
more.
Right. And what we've done is substantially increase the energy delivery, to the extent that if the people who do the academic research on this probably consider it to be a level of energy that would burn you. They haven't seen this yet.
Right.
So most of the other folks in the field are hesitant to deliver this kind of energy. We've shown over a year and a half that we can deliver it routinely and get nothing but good results from that. That's
tremendous. Now, if I had knew another doctor who's a pain specialist other than you, and the other doctor, the anesthesia, is this something that I could get available in any doctor in the county, or is it special to y'all's clinics?
It's just our clinics.
Right.
A new kind of untested therapy like this is hardly ever generates enthusiasm among the other doctors in the community.
Right.
Because there's just too much of this floating around, untested things. And so we developed the clinic practice by advertising, bringing patients in, and then patients would go back and talk with their doctors. And so now the doctors are hearing the good news from their patients, and they're referring the patient to us. But you have to come to us to get this particular therapy.
And what kind of pain is treated here, John, or Dr. Charles? I hope you don't mind if I call you John early on a Wednesday morning.
I would mind if you called me Dr. Charles.
Oh, good. Okay, that's right.
7 in the morning.
Yeah, that's right.
I can hardly recognize my own name.
So, John, when we think about that, is that pain that if I wake up in the morning and my lower back has a weird little tinge in the mornings, is that something that Curale's could do something about?
Exactly. Probably maybe 40%, maybe 50% of our patients are folks with back pain, sciatica, extensive arthritis of your back, bulging discs, things of that nature. And most of it has been around for a while. We'd really like to get folks in early on. If you were to have that pain in your back every morning for a week, I'd rather see you earlier on. It would take less treatments, it would cost less, and we would get you back into action. Most patients who come to us have already had a lot of other therapies tried.
Right.
They've had their injections, they've had pain medications, they've had physical therapy, and so we are really starting out in a hole, and even with those worst of the worst patients who nothing else has worked for, we do surprisingly well. Besides the backs, we take care of lots of knee arthritis, shoulder arthritis, carpal tunnel syndrome, facial neuralgia, trigeminal neuralgia, things like that.
Has there been a lot of, I know you said the FDA approval has occurred.
Yes.
John, has there been a lot of research into making sure everything's totally safe? As you said, I mean, part of the thrill here is that you're getting a good baseline, getting a lot of local support to make sure this is something you'd even contemplate, I guess, rolling out throughout the Southeast and throughout the country.
Right.
Not that you have guinea pigs locally, obviously,
No.
but you're really comfortable with lasers. You said you've been interested in pain and treating pain
Right.
for a long time. Had you thought about lasers prior?
No, in fact, before I was contacted by Ken Wentz, probably had never heard, I'm sure I never heard of lasers for pain relief.
Right.
In terms of the comfort level with using these, probably the most important part of my comfort level is the FDA has looked at the device and has rated it in the category of very, very low risk to the patient.
Great.
In addition to that, I've spent hours under the beam myself.
Is that right?
So has Ken Wentz, so has Roger Porter, the engineer.
For pain, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
For pain. And I have a little bulging disc in my neck. I have a little sacroiliitis. My family comes in and gets treated. My father-in-law from Florence comes over and gets his hip treated.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, he's recruiting. I had a patient last week from Florence that heard about it from him. And
is that right?
And people drive over from Florence.
Let's say if one of our viewers in Florence or Lumberton and Laurinburg was interested, I should have asked you that before we started filming, John. Is there a good phone number that someone could call, or could they go online to learn more? And I suppose you've got testimonials or otherwise, some things online.
Yeah, there's a website.
Okay.
And the spelling is it's a unique spelling, but it's www.curalase, and that's CURAELASE.
Right.
CURAELASE.com.
Okay.
And there's a lot of good information there. There's some testimonials from patients who we've treated.
Sure.
You get a good idea of what we offer. If you wanted to call and just talk with someone about it, it's in Myrtle Beach, 843-497 5273.
5273, 497-5273. Well, obviously, as you know, and all of our viewers on a regular basis know, this is a non-commercial show. We keep it, but for something like this that has gotten recent FDA approval, it's kind of exciting that something like this is based in Horry County. The opportunity for Roger, the gentleman over there in Loris, to get hooked up with Ken Wentz, and Ken, having talked to you for a long time about pain management there, it's a pretty exciting opportunity for the Grand Strand.
It is, and it's pain is such a difficult thing to treat for all doctors. And the lucky patients are the ones who get some surgery or get some injections and get better, but there are so many people for whom there's nothing left but taking narcotics and being goofy all day. And it's so very satisfying to have patients who've been miserable for years have their life changed when they come in.
So again, you said you prefer to get folks in early. Let's say I have been having a lower back pain when I wake up, having trouble putting on my shoes or something. There's a striking, sharp pain. It's been happening for 6 months, let's say. Is that something that, if I've never gotten treatment for it, I'm still at a good stage to come in? And how would this work exactly, John? I just can't even fathom that.
Well, every patient who comes in sees myself or Ken Wentz first.
Right.
And although we don't do a lot of testing and MRIs and things like that, we want to make ourselves comfortable that we're not missing something dangerous.
Right.
So if we think you need an MRI or need some other testing to make sure there's not, a tumor or that kind of thing, we'll say, listen, we'll treat you, but you got to get an MRI first, or you need to see someone who can make sure it's safe first.
Sure.
Most of the time, if you would walk in, you're a young, healthy guy, and you would describe your pain, and I would say, it sounds very much like I can make that diagnosis, and I'm not worried about being in anything else, anything ominous. So I would go ahead and say, well, you've got some lumbar back spasm. We have a protocol for that. You know, so many minutes under the laser, so many times a week for so many weeks. And then you would probably come 3 times the first week and 3 times the second week, and then maybe twice a week for a few weeks. And we'd watch your pain go away.
And the expectation would be that that would go away. This isn't a thing forever. Not necessarily.
Well,
I mean, you could see patients, I'm sure, for a long time.
Right. Everybody has a different improvement curve. One thing that's important is if we treated you a lot, let's say we gave you 10 treatments in 1 week, you still need time for your body to make use of that. And so we may have a 4-week protocol for you and tell you, listen, you're really not going to see the maximum improvement until another 4 weeks go by, just so your body can make use of this. And we see that a lot. The other part about having to come back and be seen again, we don't make that part of the protocol. And so far, after a year and a half, only a few people have come back and said, Doc, you know, I need a tune-up. And it's just been a couple of treatments for a tune-up. But any time now, we might start to see patients come back and say, Doc, it's wearing off, I need some more.
John, I hate to say we've run out of time. We'll have to get you back. There's a key question. What are the future plans for Cure-Lays we want to get into? And so hopefully we can get you, or even the opportunity to get Roger or Ken. As you know, the opportunity for something to kick off out of Horry County and have potential big implications, not only for the Southeast, but for the country. This could be real. This could be very big.
It is. It's an exciting thing. It's an exciting thing.
Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
You bet.
That's
Thank
right.
you,
I'll
Greg.
see you about that lower back pain. Stay tuned to more Carolina Fever with Dr. John Charles coming up next. We get that number out, 843-497-5273, or you heard him talk about the website. Go online there to Cure-Lays.com. That's Curaelas.com to look at all the info, testimonials. I'm sure there's links to the FDA. There's real opportunities to learn about what all happens to get something like this out, born and bred right here in Horry County. John talked a little bit off camera about the great expansion plans, expanding throughout the state, even expanding into Texas. It's upon us, but it started right here in Horry County. The excitement of hearing his father-in-law talking about flying over the area. You know, hearing John talk, it's kind of like flying through a plane as we hear him off camera talking about the excitement of his 3 kids, his firstborn getting the Fulbright scholarship there and going over to Slovenia, his second to entering her sophomore year at Wofford, and his son entering his freshman year in high school. The excitement's there. They're all involved, and of course his wife there down in Surfside as well. Everyone's making a difference in the community. Take a look online, Cure-Lays.com.